Snyder's team.
We talked with Bill Snyder yesterday. He said they worked on that, the communication from up in the box to down in the field. Too many timeouts they had to take, which cost them in the fourth quarter, as well as pre-snap penalties. Not conducive what Bill Snyder wants. They've worked on it all week, but it's going to be up to Jesse Ertz to be sure he gets those snaps off and they don't commit the same mistakes they did a week ago in Morgantown.
Snyder turned 77 yesterday. Tonight is his 300th game as head coach at Kansas State. And 41 years his junior is Cliff Kingsbury. In his fourth season at Tech, has taken the Red Raiders to bowl games in 2 of his first 3 seasons. And he hasn't had a winning record in Big 12 play. Trying to go to 2-0 in conference to start the year. Texas Tech won the toss. They elected to receive. Reginald Davis, number 2, is back to return. And Matthew McCrane boots it into the air. We're underway here in Manhattan, and it's Davis from inside the 5. And he will be stood up short of the 15-yard line. A 14-yard return, but great special teams coverage by Trent Tanking on that tackle. There's Patrick Mahomes. He leads the nation in passing yards per game. Big 12 leader in total offense. We said he was a game-time decision. Well, the decision is he will play tonight.
This is a tough kid. You know, if he had any chance to play, he was going to come out here, but a big arm. He's athletic, extends plays, touch on the football. He's got it all, Clay. One of the best quarterbacks in the entire country right here in Manhattan.
And we are off and running with another edition of KSO Classic. Mason Voth, Drew Galloway here with you, taking a look back at the 2016 season. I can't say that too many people would have anticipated that we would be wanting to look back at things that really happened anywhere between these time frames, but we're actually going to look at multiple games from that era, because later on we'll look at the 2015 game against Iowa State. But today, 2016 K-State versus Texas Tech. This is one of those that it ultimately didn't mean anything, but when you look back on it, you're going to go, man, that was a really fun game, and one that was certainly awesome to be there for. This was my first Big 12 game as a student at K-State, so I was somewhere in the student section that night with one of my buddies who had come up for the weekend, and I will get to it at one point in this game, but probably one of my more vivid nights of watching a K-State football game from the student section. So it was a lot of fun, and at this point, like, obviously, the buzz was starting to build for Patrick Mahomes. You knew that he was a pretty good player. Texas Tech always had solid quarterback play. They didn't have a whole lot solid, if anything else. But, I mean, people can try to say it, but in that moment, like, I don't have any recollection 10 years ago of being like, oh, Patrick Mahomes is going to be surefire first-round pick. He's, this is a guy that everybody should want. Like, he was just the quarterback at Texas Tech, and then you watch him play an incredible game. And obviously now we know what came to be 10 years later with the Kansas City Chiefs and where he stands right now as a surefire Pro Football Hall of Famer. But this is going to be a really exciting one to just kind of get to rehash and go over, because, I don't know that our era has many games like this yet, Drew, where you go, oh, man, that game was awesome. But this is going to be one of those.
This is definitely one of those. And it's funny that you bring the Mahomes thing up right away, because I remember kind of coming away from this game thinking like, well, as a Chiefs fan, seeing Alex Smith not being able to get over the hump in the playoffs, thinking, well, maybe like a third rounder on Mahomes would be good. And then lo and behold, he ends up going in the top 10 to the Chiefs. This was my senior year of high school, so I remember this game pretty well. And kind of just the 2016 season, as I kind of zoomed out from this game and took a look at it, it had a lot of weird quirks and something that, like, I think kind of gets lost a little bit. Like the game at Stanford, the first Friday, then leading to a bye week, week 2. So the home opener wasn't until the third week of the season. Played at 1:30 in the afternoon too. Like, that's something that will never happen.
And you're probably going to say it, but then the week after that, the Missouri State game, it got called at halftime.
That gets called at halftime. I think I did the math. Like 5 of the last 6 games started at 11 a.m. at the back half of the season. Like, it was bizarre. So it
Yeah,
was fun to like go back and rehash this because I mean this isn't like our formidable years. Like this is like you were in college, I was a senior in high school, about to be at K-State. So like, it's fun to look back at this, and I think that the only two really like fun games that match this from like this time period for us would be and I'm gonna throw one out there that might be a little bit wild, but 2019 Oklahoma, I think would be on both of our lists.
which we
It,
watched last
which,
year.
which we watched last year. And another game that I've thought about us watching is also in that 2019 season, the Mississippi State game. I think
Yeah.
also kind of gets remembered really fondly from like our college time. So this is probably like one of the better games in this 3-year stretch because the 2017 season was not very fun. 2018 was not very fun. 2019 had a lot of fun moments, but I mean, we talked about it last year. 2019 could have been a lot more fun
Uh,
than what it was.
Especially because, really outside of the Baylor and Oklahoma State games, they were in the games that
Every
they
game, yeah,
that
they
they
lost.
played.
Or they were better than the teams that they lost
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, that West Virginia game. I mean, that's still
And Navy, they were better than Navy in
yeah.
2019.
Just everywhere in the 2019 season, like some momentum would get going. Like, man, this feels like something's going on here, and it was. But there was a kick in the crotch waiting there for you on the other
Oh,
end
yeah.
of it. So yeah, the 2016 season, you're right. It is so bizarre. So like that first weekend, Memorial Day weekend, K State plays on that Friday night at Stanford. I stayed back because I was like, the most bizarre thing is the very first K-State game of your time in college being a road game on a Friday night. I was like, first time K-State's playing, and I'm going to go home and watch it at my parents' house like I've grown up my entire life watching. So I stayed in my dorm room to watch that game all by myself that night. Went back the next morning, and then, yeah, you have to wait a week after that with the bye week and that Florida Atlantic game blazing hot, getting there just baking in the sun beforehand. Missouri State, as we talked about, the K-State was dominating. They call it halftime. I waited it out. My future wife, she went back, and so I walked back in a thunderstorm, pouring rain. I was soaked when I got back, and then I'm sure he watches sometimes, and so he'll remember this, or he may not, given the story. But shout out to my guy Brett Plattner, my best friend from Goodnoe Hall. When we met in the basement, we would later go to the Iowa State game together that season. But I came back from that game, and my wife and I were watching a movie in my dorm room, and he comes in, and he had been out doing who knows what. He was under the influence, I would say, and he just pulls up a chair and sits right in front of us and is just staring right at us the whole time. But then, that West Virginia game the week before this game against Texas Tech, weird, low scoring. K-State had a chance to win it. I broke a hanger in my room when Matt McCrane missed the field goal that lost that game. And that just set the stage for a lot of irrational bad losses that year, because that basketball season with Bruce Weber was so frustrating. I mean, they made the NCAA tournament, but it was maddening the way that it played out. So it was a cathartic experience that K-State was able to get over the hump and just have a really fun and exciting game against Texas Tech to start the home slate of Big 12 games. And then after that, like to what you're saying about being able to recall and look back at all this, like I remember that Texas game. All of those games that year felt big at home. Like
Yes.
they were in them. They were playing marquee opponents. Texas, obviously, they beat last time K-State has beaten Texas was 2016. The Oklahoma State game came down to the wire. It was also an awesome game. And then the way that they closed out that season, they blasted Baylor and TCU on the road. And in between that, Bill Snyder was able to secure his 200th win at home against KU. So, and the game against Texas A&M where they won the Texas Bowl in exciting fashion. You talk about 17 and 18 being disappointing. 16 felt like it was really building to something, because I remember walking out of multiple games thinking, boy, it's not going to be this year, but like I think K-State could play for the Big 12 title next season. And
17 should have been better, and that my spoiler alert here, my what if is like, what if they actually built off of 2016? Because they also talk about during the broadcast that K-State had 26 underclassmen in the two deep, brought a lot of the team back, had Jesse Ertz come back,
Yeah.
although Jesse Ertz does get hurt in the 2017 season. But it makes that season feel so hollow that that's I think when you could see the first real cracks of, okay, it's probably time for Bill to hang it up.
Yeah, because 5 years earlier, this team with Bill would have won 10 games probably.
Yeah.
And they just didn't.
And 2017 would have won 11 or 12.
Yeah. Certainly should have won more than the 7 that they accomplished in there. And that's what I think we'll get into it from this era, because this game kind of highlighted it. There were guys that could make plays on this team for K-State, but it kind of puts into perspective just how frustrating the promise of Byron Pringle in particular was at K-State. Like, he underachieved relative to what I believe his talent to be, and ultimately how long he was able to stick around in rotations in the NFL, given his positioning. And, like Isaiah Zuber is another one. You see flashes in this game, but you also see a lot of balls that hit his hands too and fall. So it's just kind of there's a lot at play with these teams where they should have ultimately been better than what they were. And I think the evidence would be is that 2018 team for K-State wasn't very good. Obviously, we know that. But the fact that with similar groupings of guys in those years before, they were able to kind of hang on and not fall to that level, I think tells you how much talent is there. I think that, like I said, if you get Bill 5 years earlier with 16 and 17, I think we're talking about 9-10 win K-State teams at the very least. But there was just some stuff missing there. And obviously we know what was missing was that it was getting to be the end of Bill Snyder's time at K-State.
And even 17 ended well enough that you could have talked yourself into 18 being pretty good, because 17 and 16 both ended with K-State, I think, winning 5 of the last 6.
Well, and those 3 games were really.
Yeah.
I mean, the entire final month plus the bowl game of the season was really entertaining. The overtime win against Texas Tech that Skylar Thompson had. The loss to West Virginia, it was crappy weather, close, not a fun game. But then they have the big win at Oklahoma State, the last second win against Iowa State, and then they dominate UCLA in the Cactus Bowl. So, you easily could have gotten yourself to think, hey, they're not going to be that bad this year. But you quickly realized that season when they almost lost to South Dakota at home. They needed an Isaiah Zuber punt return to save their butts, and then they got just steamrolled by Mississippi State.
That 18 season, so when I went back and looked into like 17 and then early into 18, I was telling my wife, because she didn't go to K-State, so doesn't know all of this. So I talked about, 2017 like should have been better, but like 18 you could really tell it was going to fall off. And I said, you know how this past fall K-State almost lost to North Dakota? And I said, imagine that, but like K-State down 2 scores in 2018 in the season opener against South Dakota. Like, that's how bad it was. So like that game I vividly remember.
I mean, K-State had to score 15 points and shut out South Dakota in the fourth quarter to win that game. It's insanity.
I remember on Monday, after that South Dakota game, being in the student union and having just randomly ended up with a collegian, and it had like 4 or 5 quotes from students all talking about how it was time for Bill to hang it up. And I was like, well, they're probably not wrong.
Let's get into the actual game at hand here, and we'll think about the positive. The negative, we've hashed that out a lot over the years. So the game starts, you see it right there. Trent Tanking was able to get in with a horde of guys to make a play, and we get an early idea of what Patrick Mahomes is going to have going on in this game. We've heard all about the shoulder, it's hurting, it's this, it's that. It didn't look to be too much of a problem early in the game because he unleashes a bomb.
Mahomes steps up, throws it deep. And that is caught. Lauderdale made the catch inbounds. He is out at the 6-yard line. What a strike by Mahomes. And again, that shoulder just a week ago took him out of the Kansas game.
So there you go. That's how things get started and everything's moving along there. There was shortly after that, there was an iffy. I don't know. Maybe you disagree with my use of that, but there was a questionable pass interference call on Duke Shelley
No, I
on third
agree.
and goal. Yeah,
There
and
was a couple soft PIs in this game.
yes, that's a very nice way to put it. There was some oddities in the officiating. Now, I had never heard of. I couldn't remember the White Hat's name, and typically, if you're a White Hat and I can't remember your name from college, you're probably just a nobody and not that good at it. So you're not Mike DeFee. Sit down.
You're
all
not
right.
really good, and you're also not really bad.
True. Yes, you're like trying to think who the best basketball ref comparison would be for that right now. I don't know. Well, I don't know. I can't. Oh, I think his name's Greg Nixon, but Alan Tudyk, the ref that looks like Alan Tudyk that you and I always talk about. Yeah, I don't think he's bad, but I don't think he's good enough to where I don't know his name. He's not Doug Sermons to me. He's not John Higgins to me.
I mean, he's not even he's not even Kip Kissinger.
Well, okay. Well, Kip is in the upper echelon now, so let's take it easy on him.
I said that it could be good or bad.
Okay, all right. K-State gets the ball after being down 7-0, and the game plan. Dana Dimmel said a heavy serving of Charles Jones tonight. Just feeding Charles Jones so much, and to the point where this was a classic, especially like end of times for Bill, where we're going to give it to the running back, and we're going to give it to the running back again, and we're going to give it again. And then you get to the point where, like, I think they might start to catch on to this, and there was like just a wasted. It's a great idea until it doesn't work. And then when it finally doesn't work, you go, well, of course they were able to stop that. That's just such a wasted play. It's almost something that Matt Wells would have done this year. But don't worry. There's a guy named Jesse Ertz floating around, and he played like a hero in this game at some times, and this is the first time that we get to see that.
Leads the nation in passing yards per game. He was 8 of 10 on that opening drive. Now Jesse Ertz in the Kansas State offense trying to convert on 3rd and 5 from midfield. Plenty of time. Still looking downfield, now in trouble. Got it away and complete. Caught at the 40-yard line by Byron Pringle. But there's a couple of penalty flags down.
So they ultimately are going to rule this an incomplete pass, which the broadcast
probably is true.
Which the broadcast crew of Clay Matvick and Dusty Dvoracek aren't entirely certain of. Really, and I think the entirety of the game, they thought that was a completed pass. But as the ref explains here, there was a roughing the passer call, and it looked more WWE than college football, because Jesse Ertz essentially got like throat slammed to the ground with how this ended up playing out. They'll show it here in just a second. But either way, it was a heck of a job by him to keep it alive, and really should have had a completion there. And there, you're going to get to see the throat slam that Ertz took. So,
yeah. Also, in 2026, that is never even called complete on the field.
Yeah, I really don't know what was going on there, but yeah, a little extra there. That would not be the last time that we see a Texas Tech player come in and take an unnecessary shot on the quarterback. Fortunately, Jesse Ertz, miraculously, given his history, had some more plays left in him.
It wasn't his legs, so he was okay.
Yeah, and there goes Charles Jones for a first down. So K-State's got the ball moving now. They are getting close to being inside the 10-yard line. And Isaiah Zuber, speak of the devil, he ends up making a really nifty play that I'm not sure that he was actually inbounds the entirety of the time. So this
First
continues to be a common theme throughout this game.
And a late check by Jesse Ertz as the play clock is inside 10. That was a real problem spot for him last week in Morgantown. Completes the pass. Isaiah Zuber leaning out for the pylon, and he got it. Touchdown, K-State. A nice response by the Wildcats after the Texas Tech score.
See Zuber right here. He extends the football. Foot is in. Looks like he's in there, partner.
I agree with you.
That's where probably hard to overturn it, but I don't know why they're so like confident that he's not out of bounds right here.
Live, it looked good. That angle, it looks okay. The other angle that they showed, I think he's out.
This one or a different one?
The other one.
Let's see.
This one.
Oh, this one right here?
Yeah.
We need the NBC it that they like to bust out. I mean, that makes him look very out right there.
Also insane that wasn't even reviewed.
Yes, yeah. Look, I left it in. That's what's crazy about it. They just immediately are like, yeah, go kick it. There you go.
That also would never happen now.
No, we would have been sitting there for 20 minutes trying to figure that thing out. So K-State makes it 7-7 pretty quick. And then you instantly find out that there are going to be some fireworks in this game because Texas Tech gets the ball back. They're kind of moving it, but then penalties move them back. That's a huge story in this game. And this is the moment that I turned to my friend and I said, I don't know if I was, trying to be funny by it or if I truly felt it in the moment. I can't remember at this point now, but I know 10 years ago, I leaned over to him and I said, DJ Reed pick 6 coming at you. And it's probably the greatest call that I've ever had in my life because DJ Reed did in fact come through with an unforgettable interception of Patrick Mahomes.
In 23. Now we're ready to go. Marcus Felton and Quentin White will switch spots in the backfield. Play fake. And it's picked off by DJ Reed. He's going to take it to the house. Touchdown, Kansas State. A pick 6 for the Wildcats.
Great play right there by DJ Reed. Sees it the whole way. Breaks on the football. Man, big play for Kansas State. The play action pass, he's going to flip it outside real quick. DJ Reed undercuts the route, reads it the whole way, takes it the distance to the house for another Wildcat touchdown.
So I think right here, we see all throughout this game why Patrick Mahomes, obviously, you can understand now why he ends up being what he is. You see him make a lot of really impressive plays. But the play that DJ Reed makes right here is now it makes a lot of sense why he has made such a career for himself in the NFL because
100%.
I mean, he's weaving through both of those guys to get to the ball. He just is he's mentally intercepting it in addition to physically intercepting it. Like he understood what was coming there.
This is the classic example, I think, of maybe poking the bear one too many times because Patrick threw to DJ Reed's side quite a bit before that play. And eventually it ended up biting him. I texted you this during the game. There are some dudes on both of these teams. Like, looking back, Duke Shelley and DJ Reed both being the starting corners.
Yep.
Kiki QT being wide receiver for Tech. Mahomes, obviously.
Elijah Lee got plenty of time in the NFL on K-State's defense. Mike Moore was flipping awesome during this stretch for K-State. Jordan Willis, yeah.
There are some legitimate dudes on this team. So, that I think is the moment that everybody remembers from this game. I'll ask you this question. Did you think that it happened on the first drive? Because I did. And then I was like, oh, okay, so it must be the second one. Yeah.
No, I knew that it came after K-State had already scored, but I couldn't remember exactly at what point in the game. The only things that I remember from this game are the pick 6 and the Byron Pringle kick return. Now, the order of them was a little bit fuzzy. I guess I knew they were both first half. Here's the thing that came back to me, though, watching this, and we'll talk about it because it was insane. The amount of third down conversions that Texas Tech had, and that all flooded back to me because we all know and that feeling when you're watching a K-State game, you're like, oh my God, they just gave up another 3rd and 8. Are you kidding me? And that feeling was happening repeatedly throughout this game.
You could have told me that the DJ Reed play was like the first play of the game before, and I would have believed you.
I mean, close enough with as fast pace as this one got going. I would be remiss if I didn't say that this was indeed Harley Day for everybody. Another Harley Day making an appearance on KSO Classic. Something about it. I think, is this our 3rd Harley Day game? 2019 OU and 2009 A&M?
I think if we look back further, there's more.
Probably. A lot of Harley Day. I mean, Harley Day always delivers. Was 2015 Iowa State Harley Day?
Ooh. 2015,
we'll find out at some point.
As I say, we're going to find out.
So, all right, there you go. Harley Day, winding up. We're going. K-State defense didn't have much of a good response after the pick six, though. Tired. Chris Kleiman would have said that there's no doubt in his mind that the pick six actually hurt this team because the defense would go on to give up a 61-yard touchdown on the ensuing possession.
Yeah. That's a compliment, though, from Bill Snyder.
It really is. Here comes the blitz from the Wildcats. Mahomes better get rid of it. Does. And it's a strike for a first down. QT gets loose in the secondary. Inside the 20, he could go. Touchdown. No penalty flags.
So there you go. It's tied just like that. And don't worry. Like I said, Jesse Ertz playing like a hero in this game. He had a huge 3rd down conversion. The team started a combined 6 of 6 on 3rd down.
3rd
in
and
this
14
game.
type situation.
First incompletion for Ertz. A respectable 45% on the year on 3rd down for the Wildcats. 3-step drop, pumps. Still looking downfield. Ertz now, he's going to retreat. Finds a lane, gets around one of his own men. First down and a whole lot more inside the 40, down at the 37-yard line.
This is what he does best, Clay. When everything breaks down, utilizing his athleticism, nothing's down the field. He buys himself some time, and then he just says, let's go. And a big game right there on 3rd and 14, Jesse Ertz.
So K-State moving, the 3rd down conversion. I said we get a lot of Charles Jones in this game. Folks, I was not lying. There is a lot of Charles Jones. So if you aren't prepared for it, just get yourself there right now because the train is coming down the tracks and it only moves north and south. There is no east and west to Charles Jones game.
State looking for its first quality win of the year. Came close last week in Morgantown. Jones, good run. A lot of daylight. Down to the 11-yard line.
How is that?
Keyshawn Allen, another big tackle in the open field to keep.
That's what I'm saying. How many from this time period on, how many K-State running backs make that a touchdown?
Barnes, Deuce, DJ.
Dalvin Warmack, who we're going to see in this
Warmack, game. Trayshawn Ward probably still finds his way into the end zone.
Trayshawn Ward definitely does.
Dylan Edwards would have already kicked the bench, so he wouldn't have.
No, but after he scored that one, Joe Irvin probably.
Joe
Jacardier
Jackson.
Wright would have fumbled though, so we can't say him.
I think Joe Jackson scores on that, so that's 7.
Yeah, Joe Jackson definitely scores on that.
Oh, our guys, James Gilbert and Jordan Wright score.
Jordan
on
Brown,
Jordan Brown score on those.
Yep, they definitely do.
So that so pretty much any
Harry Trotter probably.
Pretty much any running back from this point forward for K-State score.
Nick Ast.
Nope, that's too far.
Whoa. We're not going to run down Nick Ast on here.
I'll even raise you. I think Jesse Ertz scores.
Oh, yeah.
On that. So,
I mean, Jesse Ertz at least.
I can't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Nope, still gone.
Oh no, I don't know what's happening here. You should be able to hear me. All right, let's keep this thing moving. Yeah, I don't know. Can you hear me now?
I'm sure that you're saying great stuff, though.
It shows up that it's coming across. This could be really terrible stuff. I can hear you. You can't hear me?
Yeah, I still can't hear you.
All right, let me look into this. Let me just play the next clip. Here we go. K-State is going to get in and score. Some of you might be able to hear me. Drew cannot. We'll see.
Done. 3rd down and 1. Play clock winding down. They get it off. Ertz is going to throw to the end zone through the hands of Dominique Heath. Was covered well by Jashawn Johnson. So now 4th down, and we'll see what Dana Dimmel, Bill Snyder decide to do here.
Going to take their points, right? I mean, in this spot, at home.
Oh, Dana's not happy.
No, he's not. Ball over the outstretched hands of Pringle, the go-to receiver right there on the outside. We saw a little bit of this last week, Clay. Third and short. We saw him throwing it 2nd and short. Staple of what Kansas State does, power football.
Got away from it last week.
Yeah, got away from it right there on 3rd and 1.
Here's a 20-yard attempt for Matthew McCrane, who missed the potential game winner last week. Gets it done here to put Kansas State back in front 17-14.
All right, so Matthew McCrane makes that. Drew allegedly still cannot hear me. So he's frozen now. So I'm just he's gonna get kicked out of here and he's gonna jump back in. So I think you guys could hear me. You couldn't hear Drew. So K-State only able to come away with a field goal there. Yeah, there we got him back. It was a you problem because then you froze at the end. So can you hear me now?
The fact that they kicked a field goal there, it, like, pisses me off.
Well, me too. That would not happen in today's college. I think we have to play that again to show you Dana Dimmel's reaction to this. That was quality and probably how everybody else was feeling. I'm sure there were numerous signs in the crowd about firing Dana Dimmel because that became a thing. Really, that's always a thing in football is get rid of the OC. But I can remember that really firing into high gear probably in 2017 is when that started, where people were trying to sneak him onto the Jumbotron in game. So there's Big D right there.
I also get his reaction, but like, why not just go? You got Jesse Ertz. Run the ball.
Yeah. That is a big 3rd and 1 right there, I would say, though. That's probably more 3rd and 2. But still, I mean, and I get what he is probably mad about because if you watch this back, it would have been really tough, but he's probably thinking like right here. I can't tell who it is in the middle. You're thinking maybe that was a little more open. I doubt it though. You've got the linebackers right there. Like I think it was pretty plugged up. It's just it's a bad play. I mean, we people talk about it all the time now. The goal line fade is so stupid.
I think actually more than like the actual throw, I think that he's upset that Ertz checked into that play.
Yeah. Well, and also
we didn't see the second one. Of course, it's got to be the Dana Dimmel, Winston Dimmel Wildcat show that absolutely got blown up.
So I can't remember if we ever actually aired it because we were worried about what it might be, but one of my first years at K-Man for Meet the Wildcats, something that Mitch Fortner did at Media Day every year. When K-State had their own Media Day, he would go around and he'd ask all these questions, guys. He would always ask for an impression of coaches. And Alex Barnes did an impression one year of Dana Dimmel. And all I remember is that it was something like, got to get the ball to Winnie. Got to get the ball to Winnie. And I don't know that we ever actually aired that. I think enough time has passed now where everybody can laugh about it. But obviously would have been a pretty sore subject at the time because Winston Dimmel was getting a spoonful of touches from his dad. All right. So K-State goes up 17-14 after that. Tech comes out and they hit K-State with a double pass. K-State never ready for a trick play. And then I have to show another Patrick Mahomes play. This tells you how special this game was and this performance was. Very rarely do we actually show
the ability to rush the football for this
the opposing plays in these games. But That is how special Patrick Mahomes was today.
They need the 11. Mahomes flushed out. Wow, nice move. First down, touchdown. Patrick Mahomes, a 16-yard run. And
as a fellow Mike Moore guy, that's a tough scene. He just gets his ankle snapped.
Well, it's this is also like a classic Mahomes thing. Run well, but not always. Whoa! I don't think that's Mike Moore that got him snapped. Mike Moore was chasing in.
Mike Moore gets his ankle snapped at the very beginning, right here.
Yeah.
And then Jordan Willis gets absolutely,
which not fair to Jordan Willis, put him in that spot. But like this is something we see with Patrick Mahomes a lot now, where it's, he's good for like a couple runs every few games, and they're going to be backbreakers for the opponent, just like that was.
Also hilarious that he is the one that gets 3 rushing touchdowns in a game that involved Jesse Ertz.
Yes, very much so. Okay, so Tech, another third down conversion. That was their 5th of the game already. They're up 21-17. K-State moving the ball, and finally Drew gets his wish. 4th and 1 at the goal line. What does K-State go with? It's this.
Facing a 4th down and goal, they're going to go for it. Ertz on the keeper. No indication yet. There it is, touchdown, Kansas State.
All right, give Winnie his flowers here, Drew, because he did a lot of driving of this pile back there.
I'm also sorry, but if the whole pile outside of one guy that doesn't have the ball is in the end zone, why are you taking so long to make this call?
Yeah, that always does kind of bother me. It's like you don't think that he's in or what?
Everybody is in the end zone. That, by the way, that's also like when you think of Bill 2.0, I always think of little clown car formation QB sneak.
Hey, by the way, who is even number 30? Johnston. Do you remember?
No, there are some dudes that came into this game for K-State that I have no recollection.
I probably had a class with him, and I just don't realize. I know that there was like one of the long snappers I had a class with. Those guys like that, they don't always get a ton of love. So shout out to Johnston. I feel like I know a lot of guys that played football at K-State, especially from when I was there. That's one name that I could not match the name or the number. So Drew's, I think, going to get on the case right now and find it. In the meantime, Patrick Mahomes gets the ball back. He goes, runs in another. So it's 28-24. And the broadcast is already starting to look ahead to halftime. They're thinking, hey, okay, this thing is winding down. But the big plays, especially from K-State, are not over yet, because as they're coming back to break, Byron Pringle goes to work and takes one back for a touchdown.
All right, Brendan, we'll see you in a minute and 47 seconds. Tennessee's been playing with fire all year.
And when you play with fire, what happens? At some point, you're going to get burned. They get burned today. 7 turnovers on the road. The fact that they were in that game seems almost impossible. Could not complete another improbable comeback there in College Station. Congrats to Kevin Sumlin, Trevor Knight, 6-0 this season to start the year.
Byron Pringle on the return. It's a good one for Kansas State. Pringle. No flags. Touchdown.
It's insane that Texas Tech wasn't able to get him at any point during that, because they had enough guys, you felt like, in a few moments to really surround him, and they just didn't. There's one guy at the end that I think makes a really bad attempt, probably too early at making the diving tackle to stop him. Doesn't matter. Byron Pringle is in, and a nice kind of highlight to what he would do a few times in his career at K-State.
That's Clay Matvick also trying to be Joe Buck with the no flags.
Yeah. Yes.
I figured out who number 30 is for you.
Okay.
His name was Chase Johnston. Wild career arc. The last page that I see him on for K-State is 2018. He moved from fullback to linebacker in 2017 and then moved to defensive end in 2018. And then he disappeared off the face of the earth.
You haven't found a LinkedIn yet?
I mean, I haven't looked for one, but I thought that was interesting. He also changed from 30 to 13 by the end of his career.
Well, all right, that's good. All right, the last highlight from the first half.
He's in financial planning, by the way.
Oh, okay. All right, well, that's good. Jordan Willis makes a play. His sack.
Jordan Willis, by the way, a big NASCAR fan. He was telling you that yesterday.
Loves NASCAR. I said on Sundays when you go home, what do? You watching a NASCAR race of the NFL. Quick response, NASCAR all day, start to finish.
Been to a lot of races at the Kansas Motor Speedway. And Willis in hot pursuit again. He gets to Mahomes. Mahomes thought a race car was coming at him that time.
Jordan Willis looked like he was shot out of a cannon right there. He's the unblocked player right here. Right here.
So there you go. That effectively ends the first half. K-State up 31-28 going into the break. A pretty wild stretch.
An electric half. 31-28.
We haven't seen much better during KSO Classic.
Special teams and defensive score. Got some good crowd pops. Also is funny because offensive line is always tough to grade out, but watching that, the fact that they left Jordan Willis of all people to be the unblocked guy, insane.
Well, this is a good reminder, folks, of what Texas Tech was and always has been in the Big 12. So this was much needed in the times that we live in right now, where Texas Tech is trying to gaslight everybody into thinking that they were meant to be this and that this is all natural the way that they've done things. It is not. This is the Texas Tech that has always been there. Okay, here we go. Third quarter gets underway. Tech, more penalties. It leads to K-State getting a stop on 4th and goal, and then Tech has to go out and eventually settle on a field goal to tie the game. Then more drops for the K-State receivers. That continues to be a problem throughout this. You do kind of wonder where this game would be at if a couple of those guys had caught some balls. But K-State's going to need another big defensive play to stall some momentum, and they do it right before the end of the third quarter.
Second time going for it on 4th down tonight. Came up empty the first time. Big hit. Reggie Walker making his presence felt. And Kansas State will take over on downs.
Well, 4th and 6. And they want to force the issue. Bring pressure. The blitz is coming. Reggie Walker, he's unblocked off the edge. And he gets there to Patrick Mahomes for a huge sack. They're on 4th down.
One thing that, Reggie Walker is a guy that I think there were a lot of big expectations for over his career, and the development just seemingly stalled out. And that's probably another indicator of what was going on with the coaching staff at this time, is that they're just guys were not improving at all. They were staying in the exact same area that they were. I mean, we see it. Alex Delton and Skylar Thompson played multiple seasons. They got experience and nothing seemed to look better or improve for them. And then Skylar has a drastic change in his performance from 2018 to 2019.
No, I think that's exactly right, because everybody thought that Reggie Walker was just going to take the keys kind of from Jordan Willis, and he did not.
No.
And said this was by far his best season at K-State, and he never got better. But I also don't think that he regressed. He just stayed the same guy.
Yeah. All right, Drew, can I interest you in any more Charles Jones?
I mean, I actually do kind of like Jones.
Well, here he is.
Center downs, they'll run it on 1st. Jones finds a seam. 1st down inside the 5. Goal to go, Wildcats.
But that also should have been a touchdown.
Yeah, I'm not as hard on that one, but yeah, you're probably right. Charles
It,
Jones is a weird guy in terms of how long, like the eras that his career kind of spans, and maybe this just has more to do with like when like I got to school, but like he was on that Buffalo Wild Wings bowl team, and then
yeah.
to think like he's on this team, he's featured in that 2015 team in the comeback against Iowa State, kind of fascinating.
Touchdown. His second rushing touchdown of the year.
All right, there you go. That's more Chuck Jones for you. There's over 9 minutes left in this game at this point now. Shortly after, Bill has already used all of his timeouts. No
Of
timeouts
course.
left for K-State. Yeah, they were talking earlier about play clock being a problem in Morgantown. Yeah, we know, we're well aware at this point in time. But K-State's going to come through and get another big stop on defense, this time thanks to another guy that felt like he was around for a long time, and that would be Dante Barnett.
Out of their last timeout, 3rd and 2. The pitch, back to Stockton. He is rolled up at the 20 by Dante Barnett. 4th down. A loss of 10.
Also in this moment, Texas Tech now has no timeouts left. We're under 5 minutes to go. They are down 2 scores, and they're going to end up letting this ball after K-State, is able to stop them here on 4th down. K-State's going to end up getting a field goal out of the next drive. So Matthew McCrane's going to make it 44-31. DJ Reed almost had another pick. Well, really should have, but then another iffy pass interference call, and that's not a great, not the best of throws there for Patrick Mahomes, just into a guy's back. But
this was not a clock management masterclass, some would say.
No, not at all. So
because the fact that K-State doesn't run the clock out more after that turnover rundowns is also crazy.
No, it's just short field. What are you going to do? So Matthew McCrane is in. DJ Reed has a pick that gets overturned because of a pass interference call. I disagree with it. But then Patrick Mahomes steps up, makes a really nice touchdown throw, makes it a 44-38 game, and so Texas Tech has an onside kick to try and get this thing underway. And you never would have guessed the most K-State thing ever. Texas Tech recovers it, and they're going to get a chance, which does this remind you of anything, Drew? Because the year prior, the same thing happened against Iowa State where I guess it wasn't an onside kick, but they got a really good look at it to try to make some miracle happen. Fortunately, that did not come to fruition.
Yeah, absolutely. The last thing we've seen some crazy finishes in college football the last few weeks. The hands team here for Kansas State. They have to be sharp.
Texas Tech has it.
A lot went wrong there.
Yes.
Number one might be that the guy that was on that side for K-State was an NFL player not playing offense.
Yeah. Look, Deontay Burton obviously made a lot for his career, got to the NFL, made some plays at K-State. Bad there to just not go attack the ball in that moment. The double bounce does kind of, it makes it wonky. I get it. But that was unfortunate. And K-State gets really lucky here that they apply enough pressure that Patrick Mahomes doesn't get a throw off cleanly, because knowing what we know now, it would have been really scary.
Also, I feel like the onside kick never goes K-State's way when they need it. But in like a situation like this, they never get it.
Yeah.
Here's the ball game. Willis. Got a hand on Mahomes. He heaves it. Hit. Incomplete. Ball game. Sure might you more.
Yeah, so K-State wins there. Look, you talk about the onside kicks. This is what's so funny is that in 2019, like when OU recovered the onside, I was just like, yeah, of course they did. Like it was such a stunning thing that the penalty flag got applied and they did overturn it because they said, it was illegally touched. But like it kind of crazy that it felt like it always happened there. There goes true freshman Skylar Thompson walking by in that moment, if you saw him there. And really, you're right, Drew. Like just a who's who of guys, because tons of dudes played in the NFL in this game. We obviously saw Dalton Reisner there, so he obviously got his time. You mentioned Deontay Burton, and he gets his opportunity. Reggie Walker got a couple of games in the NFL. Just endless guys from this
DJ
team.
Reed, Duke Shelley. Not a lot of guys on offense.
We've talked about this. It's kind of crazy that Matthew McCrane isn't one of them that has gotten the opportunity.
Give him more of a shot.
Yeah. I'm looking right now on the sports reference page. So that is 4, 7, 10. 10 guys on this K-State roster got time in the NFL. Can you name all 10 of them? This is not your trivia question.
As I say, is this the trivia question?
This is not the trivia question.
Skyler, Isaiah Zuber, Dalton Reisner, Duke Shelley, DJ Reed, Deontay Burton. Okay, now it gets a little bit tougher. Did Alex Barnes actually play a game in the NFL?
No, actually, and I take that back. Matthew McCrane has gotten time in the NFL. He just hasn't stuck around as much as we think that he maybe could, given his pedigree that he's showing off in whatever the spring leagues are.
All right, so Matthew McCrane then is 7. What Elijah Lee got some time in the NFL. What are the other positions?
I don't even remember who you named right now. I got thrown off when I realized that I discredited Matthew McCrane's a couple of weekly contracts. I'll just read them to you. Jordan Willis, Reggie Walker.
I forgot Jordan Willis.
Yeah. Duke Shelley, DJ Reed, Elijah Lee, Matt McCrane, Dalton Reisner, Isaiah Zuber, Deontay Burton, and Byron Pringle.
I forgot Willis and Pringle. That's 2 bad misses.
It's hard because those are guys that were significant in enough of a way. So,
it's just because I was thinking about all the other guys. I just thought that I'd said them, but I didn't.
Man, I get it. Makes sense. All right, let's get into this now. We didn't rate the uniform matchup when we started. We should. I gave it a 5.9. The K-State uniforms at night are doing a lot of heavy lifting here. Under Armour, they absolutely suck, and these are terrible. So just really, really bad.
You said 5.9. I gave it a 6.2. So we were in the same ballpark.
All right. Best play from this game. Oh, well, shoot. We have to do the real trivia question now. I don't want to get too far down the road without fun. It is in the same vein of naming NFL players because Patrick Mahomes, obviously in this game, first round draft pick at quarterback. From 2009 to 2018, in those 10 seasons, K-State faced 8 of the 30 first-round quarterbacks taken in the NFL draft. There was also a 9th who didn't play in the game, but K-State faced his team when he was on the roster. So can you name all 8 plus the 9th that K-State faced in that 10-season stretch?
Okay. Patrick Mahomes in this game.
Patrick Mahomes is correct. Free space.
Yeah, I love a good free space. Jalen Hurts. Oh, no, that was 28. That was 19.
Jalen Hurts was not a first-round pick.
Oh, I also forgot about that.
But yes, he was not in this time frame either.
Yeah. Baker Mayfield then.
Baker Mayfield.
Now I'm thinking about is Kyler Murray one of these, or is he the one that didn't play?
Kyler Murray is one of them.
Okay. 2019 or 2009 to 2018. Are they all Big 12 quarterbacks?
Yes. No. Well, all of the ones that played are Big 12 quarterbacks.
Oh, that's a strange caveat. Okay.
We've actually already mentioned the game that guy did not play in today.
Okay. Brandon Whedon.
Yep, Brandon Whedon.
So that was another one that I was trying to remember if he still went in the first round or not.
Yeah, it was crazy to believe, but he did.
Let me think some more here. Is there some obvious ones that I'm really missing?
Um, uh, yeah, kind of, but it's the earliest guy on the list. So,
Okay. Can you throw some teams out for me then?
you still have another Oklahoma quarterback on here, and then
Okay.
two of the teams are no longer in the Big 12. Well, yeah, three of them, I guess, with Oklahoma, and then another, really a pretty obvious one that's still out there.
Okay. The one from Oklahoma, is that the one that, like, which team is the guy that didn't play on?
Well, that one I didn't give you the hint for, but that was a bowl game.
Okay. Oh, Josh Rosen.
Yeah, UCLA in 2017. Josh Rosen did not play.
Okay. Did he just opt out or was he hurt?
He opted out. Well, that was a weird thing, but yeah, he opted out, and they had already fired. Who was their coach at the time that they had just fired? What? Oh, Jim Mora had just gotten fired. So Jed Fish was the interim coach for that game. There's a lot of weird circumstances in that
Did
one.
K-State face Sam Bradford?
Yes, 2009, Sam Bradford.
Yeah, that was really digging deep. I forgot about this guy because he was still in the NFL not too long ago. Blaine Gabbert.
Yeah, Blaine Gabbert, Missouri in 2010.
Okay, now I've got to think a little harder
It's
here.
it's not that hard. I
Oh,
two
RG
iconic games.
RG3 and Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, RG3 and Ryan Tannehill. So K-State faced three first-round quarterbacks in the 2011 season, and
That's
Griffin, Tannehill, and
crazy.
Whedon. And then, yeah, Bradford and Gabbert in 09 and 10, and then all the guys that came after in the horde of
I,
Oklahoma quarterbacks. I asked
I
that.
think
It came to me because I was thinking about it just kind of a strange, like, stretch and amount. And actually, I guess technically I kind of lie. Sam Bradford was hurt, so he did not actually play in that K-State game in 2009. So that he is technically a second guy, but he was actually still, like, essentially a part of the team. He was not like Josh
yeah.
Rosen, who had firmly opted out. But yeah,
I
not to
think that
fully mislead you there.
I think that part of the issue that I had at first was thinking more along the lines of like 15 to 18 instead of going back and just going with the guys like in order.
Yeah.
Because like it makes a lot more sense, obviously, now, like looking back, like, oh yeah, it was RG3 and Ryan Tannehill. But also you gotta remember, like we just also saw Ryan Tannehill play receiver.
Yeah.
So like that also was kind of throwing me into a little bit of a loop, but that was a really good question. All the questions that you've thought of so far have been bangers.
Like, I like to get outside the box. All right. Best play from this game. It's got to be the DJ Reed pick six. It's what everybody remembers from this game. It's going to be shown for infinity on pregame hype videos for K-State. So that's easily the
100%.
best play.
Yes.
Worst play in this game. I said take your pick of any of the first half conversions that K-State allowed on defense, or you could also make the case that the third and short play near the goal line that we talked about, where Dana Dimmel was upset, that could be thrown into the mix as well.
I went with the sequence of the Winnie Wildcat and then the throw on 2nd and 1 and 3rd and 1, and then you kick a field goal because
Yeah.
it's 2016. Zero people, I think, kick a field goal there in 2026.
I would agree. What aged well from this game? I mean, I'll let you answer, Chiefs fan, but I think the number one thing that aged well from this.
Oh yeah, it's definitely Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Uh,
Uh,
the number
yeah.
two
If you
thing.
have any others, because I only put that down.
Oh wow, are you not a Dusty Dvorak guy?
Yeah, that is true. I was going to mention him later, but yes, he definitely aged well with
Like he
this.
aged he aged well. Two other things that I have like kind of outside the box. One, did you pick up during the broadcast that Dusty Dvorak was like hammering the table for Houston and BYU to join the Big 12? That
Oh
aged well.
no, I didn't. I did not pick up on that.
And then, did you pick up on who Texas Tech's offensive coordinator was at this time?
Oh well.
He didn't call the plays, but Eric Morris was the
Wow.
offensive coordinator for Texas Tech. I would say that
Wow.
he has aged well. We'll
Yep.
see how he looks the Big 12 wise, but that has aged pretty well, I would say.
Yeah, that's those are good pickups there. What aged poorly for me? The armbands with the giant letters and the serpentine font, they do not
Yes,
look good.
they
And they
do
didn't look
not.
good at the time. They also, the players were wearing, and it wasn't like Nike shirts underneath the jerseys, but some of them were wearing like a different brand. It had like a bulkier, weird looking power cat under it that you could see under the shoulder pads, like right on the neck. So they were kind of going like double power cat on here and then on the actual jersey. Just kind of some weird aesthetic looks from this time. This was a transition period from the kind of the old way to the new way of jerseys and everything.
I have two things. One you'll laugh at, the other will kind of be sad about together.
Oh no!
The
Oh
first thing,
no!
the first thing that I have that you'll laugh at is Texas Tech and their fans. Like that has aged poorly. And then the second thing that I have that's just sad is the production quality of games on
Mm.
ESPNU is abysmal now.
Boy, I am so glad that that's what you said. I thought you were going to go someplace really dark with that. And I was like,
Oh no,
I
no.
was like, well,
But
that doesn't.
ESPNU games now, that is, I think, 50 times worse than me on ESPN Plus.
I mean, I would say this: if K-State, if they hadn't used the stupid baseball KS for K-State's secondary logo on these broadcasts, this may be my favorite ESPN score bug and graphics package of all time for college football. It's clean and it implements a lot of color, a lot of logos, stuff that I think is really good for college football. This and then the 2019 one that we've talked about, I really like
Yes.
what they did with those. So yeah, this was a good era for that for ESPN. And you're right, the production value still really good for an ESPNU game, which we'll talk about right now, because grade the broadcasters. Look, for me, I gave it an A+ because look, we're grading on a little bit of a curve because it's ESPNU, but you and I have talked about this. Clay Matvick, that guy is just popping up on random teams, like niche, really good, exciting games. He also called the Miami game for K-State. You pointed out beforehand, he called the 22 Iowa State game in Ames. So he's really good for stuff like this. You already talked about Dusty Dvoracek. I mean, the glow up for Dusty Dvoracek, 6 years later, he's calling K-State in the Sugar Bowl against Alabama. So he's risen from, hey, we're going to tuck you away on ESPNU for a couple of 500 teams in the Big 12 to you're getting to call one of the five biggest games we're going to have all season on the platform. That's significant. He's also, now doing his national radio show with Danny Cannell in the mornings on Sirius. So this is as good as you could get for ESPNU, and really, I mean, close to this era. Like, I think Matt Vick is a really solid broadcaster. He's good for this stuff. And then Dvoracek, he was just a guy waiting for his chance to get the call up that he deserved. So this is as good of a crew as you could have asked for.
Like, honestly, what's wild is like Dvoracek doesn't sound like this now. Like, he sounds so different. Like, it took me a little bit until they went into the broadcast booth to even recognize that it was him. I gave this a B+. Like, I thought they were solid. I think that what brings this not to an A for me is they hammered on this broadcast that Patrick Mahomes was hurt and was a game time decision coming into it. And for me, I'm like, okay, I heard that in the first quarter. I don't need to be hearing that all throughout the game.
He also didn't really play like a guy that was really ailing in this game. Like, they showed him getting his treatment and stuff throughout, but like he didn't seem physically impaired by it.
And the times that they really brought it up were when he had a terrible throw.
Yeah.
Like, you can admit that he had a terrible throw. Like, that's okay.
MVP from this game? I'll be interested to see who you go with.
I wrote 3 names down, but because I'm nice to you, I'm just going to say one. I went Chuck Jones.
That's fair. He had a really good game here for K-State. There, you can't deny it. 128 yards on 19 carries.
This was such a complete game, though, that Bill Snyder was another guy that I wrote down
Whoa, easy, Homer.
this was such Bill 2.0 to get outgained by as much as they did, but win because they won the hidden yardage and they won the game because they scored twice, not on offense.
Yeah, K-State was outgained by 257 yards in this game. Texas Tech had 592 yards of offense. K-State had 335. Now, K-State had a pick six and a kick return touchdown in this game. Penalties also notable in this game. 9 for 100 for Texas Tech, 6 for 50 for K-State. I went DJ Reed just because I think that play looms so large in this game. And then, later on, he made a play, even though they gave him PI for it. I just, that's going to be the prevailing thing from this game that everybody remembers. And this is one of those that, like, watching it was just so steady from Jones, and Jesse Ertz had some moments as well with his legs. Nobody else on offense deserved it. Like, those were the only two guys that could have been in the mix for it, that I think that those are probably the best.
DJ Reed was not the third person I had written down, though. The third that I had written down was Ertz. I just thought that DJ Reed was too up and down in this game, because he had some good, but he also had some bad.
Yeah. My underrated player, I gave it to Jesse Ertz because I think DJ Reed and Byron Pringle's flash plays stand out. And because Ertz did so many things in this game, the 10 for 83 and a touchdown rushing, he threw for a touchdown as well. But there's a lot of stuff that wasn't going to show up because his guys dropped the ball or certain things took away what he had done. He played really, really well, and the box score wasn't going to reflect it for this game. So he was a big part of it. So that's why I gave him underrated player, because the defense really didn't play good enough to have like an underrated player there. And I don't know who you're picking on offense. We already mentioned Charles Jones for MVP. So
I still went with two defensive guys, even though the defense had a rough day overall.
So can I guess?
You can guess.
Am I going to be able to guess?
Yes, because these two guys made some big plays when it was really needed.
Duke Shelley?
No.
Okay. Jordan Willis?
Yep.
And
this is the guy we've already talked about. No, but we've already talked about this guy.
Mike Moore?
Nope.
Oh, all right. Reggie Walker?
Yeah.
Okay.
Those two had some big-time moments in pass rush where they kind of forced bad throws or they got to Mahomes on critical plays. Like, I'm pretty sure that it's Jordan Willis that is the one that has the hit on the Hail Mary, too. So, like, they were kind of all over the place. And in a game where the defense was terrible, like, those two guys at least made flash plays.
Yep. Any notable moments from the broadcast for you? I really didn't have anything, just because it was, only a 2-man, so we don't get any like sideline reports, which kind of hurts it. They do feature Harley Day a couple times throughout it, but there wasn't anything really that stood out to me here, other than just the fact that like I reminisce about how much I like this score bug.
Yeah, I said that the hashtags being on the score bug, that was very like 2016 in that era. Harley Day, we've talked about. I also threw in that they showed Dusty and Clay Matvick having their production meeting with Bill Snyder and gave him cookies.
Yeah, that was awkward.
It was very awkward. And then I also talked about how you could also tell that this was Bill 2.0 because you know what they had to bring up during the game of when is Bill going to retire? And they talked about it, and they had to talk about, is Sean Snyder going to be the next guy?
It's evergreen. It's evergreen. Random players from this game. Who stood out to you that you got he was in this game? I mean, we just talked about all these NFL guys.
We talked about a lot of NFL guys, but I went with Donnie Starks.
Oh, heck yeah. This is a Donnie Stark show right here. So we're Team Teabag on this show.
That there is a lot to choose from on both sides.
We're going to have to do that Texas Bowl at some point, because that is a fun game, good one. Yes, it's got the Donnie Starks teabag. It also has Scott France just shutting down Myles Garrett. So
The, there are a lot of fun games that are still out there. Buddy Wyatt was also the DN's coach at Texas A&M in that Texas Bowl.
Oh, well, I know he's done a lot of good since 2019 at K-State, but now I'm concerned about his ability to be a coach moving forward, thinking about that one. All right. What ifs? I have a great one for you here, Drew.
Oh, okay.
Where did that Texas Tech ball on the final play end up? Because Mahomes' arm gets hit as he's going back to throw. And everybody knows that feeling where you're like, oh, it's not there. It goes sailing. I think it ends up in the stands. So, which K-State fan ended up with the ball? And were you a good human and did you give it back to the Texas Tech ball boy? Or did you take that thing and do you have the Patrick Mahomes errant throw from the end of this game? That's my what if from this. Is I want to know what happened to that football.
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, that's a lot more positive, I think, than mine of like, what if 2017 and 2018 were actually fun football seasons? What if they could build off of this team?
I mean, if 2017 and 2018 are fun and good football seasons, is Colin Klein the head coach right now? I mean, it's a real domino effect that takes place.
That's actually a really good question because he was the co-OC in 2018. So,
Yeah.
like, yeah, I don't know. I thought when you talked about the what if of where did the ball go, I thought you were going to say, where would the ball have gone if Mahomes got the ball off? Because that was going to be a rocket.
Well, we probably would have been asking what fans in the third row of the south end zone ended up with the ball.
Because I think that there was a 0% chance that that ball would have ended up in the field of play.
It was going to be high and deep.
Because it went far after he got hit.
Yeah, that was about to be it is high, it is far. Yeah, that was going up there. All right, rate the game. I gave it an 8.1. I thought really good. This does fall into the trap of some of these other games, though, where it gets a really boring stretch in there where like this is one that nonstop action for the first hour and a half of the broadcast. And then it's like, oh, I can fast forward through this because nothing happens in the second half. K-State's taking field goals. It can turn into a little bit of a snooze fest. Fortunately, it picks up late again with some action and some exciting plays. But it's an 8.1. It could have been higher if what happened in the first half carried forward in the second half. But fortunately for K-State, it didn't. They would not have won this game if it turned into like any Baylor, West Virginia, or TCU game from this time period.
This is where you can tell that, people are going to say it's because we were together in Big 12 Media Days that we're on the same wavelength because I went 8.3. So we're right there again.
Well, that sounds like a perfect way to end it. Drew and I are indeed the smartest people in the KSO and K-State podcast space. So just join us next week when we get back onto a regular schedule and we do this on a Friday. The week a little bit different.
Yeah, sorry everybody that I got back at 3:40 in the morning on Thursday and I didn't want to watch the KSO Classic game on Thursday.
Well, there was some bad planning by me. I should have taken into consideration how that was going to look. So don't worry. We will be back in action next week on Friday. This thing is going to go. We're going to have all the same games. There will be now the final week before the season starts. We will have 2 games. That's going to be a banger of a week. 2022 title and then 2012 West Virginia. But next week, I got to make sure that he's good to join us. But John Kurtz is back in the hot seat because he wants to be on KSO Classic when we watch 1998 K-State versus Nebraska. So that is next week on KSO Classic. And then the rest of this week, normal shows for you. One last reminder for everybody, if you want to be at KSU Night at the K, that is coming up this Friday. GoFevo.com/event KSO and the number 2. You can still get in there to get your discounted tickets and parking. And maybe you'll see the Voth family trotting around the K Friday night.
And you can watch the 7th best home run hitter in the MLB.
Yeah,
that's what we learned last night.
In a controlled environment.
Controlled environment.
All right.
Well, specifically at Citizens Bank Park.
Yeah, that's a great sell. Those were 10 hard-earned dollars gone by the wayside. Appreciate everybody joining us today. I was playing an away game at my parents' house, so my daughter could spend more time with her grandma since
Later this week, I'll be back and having a home game.
perfect. We're going to be so on track come Thursday, just for me to leave town on Friday.
Well,
So
Thursday I won't be back at home yet.
okay. All right. Well, next week, this is going to be back to a great show for everybody. Hopefully today was just good enough for you. I would imagine that the K-State win and Patrick Mahomes were able to kind of push this thing over the top for everybody. So we will get out of here. For Drew Galloway, I'm Mason Voth. Thanks for watching and listening to KSO Classic, and we will talk to you tomorrow with the KSO Show.